Good morning, everybody. This year, 2012, at MIPS, we're live from Florida, Fort Lauderdale. We're here today to announce a number of our new products that we're bringing to market here in 2012. We've tried to be much more customer-driven in our innovation and our improvements in our client, and you'll see that that is part of what is being brought to the market in this release. Even though we would update the smart client, it was very important that we didn't do a revolution. It had to be so that there was a migration and a feel of affinity to our old smart client so that all the installed base of users were able to migrate from what they do today to this improved version. Also, we were told that we needed to let the operators decide if they wanted to have a light environment or a dark environment to use it. So on the fly, the operators can actually choose if they want the white version or the dark version. And the first thing that we've done is that we've actually integrated the traditional time navigator and the timeline so that you have a timeline at the bottom where you have one for all the cameras in that one view and then one for the selected camera that you're looking at in the smart client. You'll see that you have the line. You can throw this back and forth to joggle in between the cameras. You can condense the timeline at the bottom. You can expand it by scrolling the wheel, and it's also possible to zoom in and out. So what we've done here is, without making a revolution in the smart client, we've made it a lot easier to actually maneuver around, and it's much more intuitive for the user to move back and forth. We've also looked at the export. We made it a lot easier to do exports, both for bulk exports in multiple formats and to optical media like DVDs and Blu-rays. And we've also increased the security in how you handle the exports. In addition to this, there's a re-export limitation. So you can disable that once you've done an export, either to a DVD or a Blu-ray or any other media, that anybody else can actually start to redistribute this export. Once the export's done, you can now go in and check the details. It'll show you the path where it went. You can check the path and open up the export and make sure that the content that you wanted to have exported is actually there, so it's a control of the quality of your work. We've also added what we call task-oriented tabs to the smart client. In addition to our live and playback, we have Sequence Explorer, we have the Alarm Manager, and the System Monitor. If we move on and then look at the Sequence Explorer, we can see that the Sequence Explorer can actually be undocked into a floating window. You can undock it like that. You can size it so you get the size you want. You can go down and resize the thumbnails to fit what you want. You can also throw the thumbnails back and forth as usual, and you can move this floating window to a secondary or third screen so that you can actually view this at the same time as you keep viewing the rest of the functionality in the smart client. So what we've done is that we've added the capability of predefining maps that go with specific alarms. We've also implemented customization of the alarms. So you can do a fully customized prioritization of the alarms depending on the situation for this implementation of our platform. You also have groupings in different categories. This could be system alarms, intrusion alarms, fire alarms, access control alarms. So let's take a look at how this works when you look at the Alarm Manager. There's a new alarm. We're going to go up and click. You saw the number of new alarms. We see, oh, there was one map of the airport with that alarm. We go down and then we look at the other alarm that wasn't highlighted. And then we see it pulls up the video, but it also pulls up another map from the transit area. And the good thing is that now you can go into the transit area and you can look at the alarm. You have a live video viewing while the investigator can actually look at what it was that caused the alarm. And he can do the investigation. He can actually make notes on what it was. And then he can choose to retire that alarm depending on if it has to go, dispatch to the police or some security officers, or if there was nothing really going on, he can remove it and say, this is what we've done. So that was the smart client, some highlights of what it is that we're bringing. Customer-driven innovation, as Lars talked about in his keynote speech, and we're really looking at what our users need to put this into our products.